저 사람 삥이랬어요! 안녕하세요 여러분. Welcome to Cinemaria, where we only talk about South Korean cinema. And today, it's been a long time since somebody asked me to watch today's show, and I'm sorry, I know it's been a long time, but finally here it is. Let's talk about The Guest, or Son, The Guest. The show stars Kim Dong-wook, Kim Jae-wook and Chung Eun-jae, with Lee Wan-chong and Park Ho-san supporting, along with lots of other people, but I'm mentioning them because they were great. Park Ho-san also starred in The Call and in My Mister, and he's always great. Kim Dong-wook's character is a psychic who was born into a shaman family. There's a legend in the town about a very powerful spirit called Son, or Park Hye-do, who lives in the sea, and when he comes out, trouble also comes. Oh yeah, it's a horror series about exorcism and stuff. If you don't like that, this review might not be for you. But hang around a little. Back to the story. 20 years ago, Kim Dong-wook's character not only finds out that the spirit is real, he also loses 2 of his family members because of it. And there's actually a lot more to that, but it's better if you find out for yourself. But lots of people die in a chain of events, and those who were left alive got scarred for life. On the inside. If you're afraid that the show is constantly jumping back and forth in time, don't worry, it doesn't. It's pretty linear. But obviously some time had to be spent in the past in order to understand the present, and honestly, it was some of the best setup for a show I've ever seen. In fact, the first 2 episodes were pretty much perfect. They were fast, they were relentless, the atmosphere was suffocating, the tension building and the sound design was on point, and even the special effects. They weren't overdone, which was a huge plus, and they actually looked really good. The first 2 episodes had some of the best horror I've seen since I don't even know when. Right from the very first scene, it's super intense and it's done in such a way that your interest is immediately sparked. And then the show gives you no room to breathe for 2 freaking episodes. It was amazing. I kind of wanted the whole show to be like that, but then I thought, okay, but what about the characters then? And sure enough, that intensity never really comes back, and probably it would have been impossible to keep that up for 16 episodes anyway. So episode 3 slows down significantly. I was a bit sad, but it was necessary. It was necessary because the guest avoids some of the traps bad horrors fall into, one of them being the characterization. The show slowing down actually serves a larger purpose, and that is us getting to know and understand the main characters, who are really interesting. So Kim Dong-wook nowadays is a taxi driver, but he's constantly looking for Park Hye-do. His psychic abilities are largely gone, but sometimes he sees through the eyes of the possessed before they do something bad. Interesting. Kim Jae-wook is a younger priest and a rookie exorcist, and he might also have some business to do with Park Hye-do. I mean, unfinished business. Interesting. Chung Eun-jae is a police officer. She's really smart, she fights really well, she's a bit hard-headed though, and she has no idea that spirits exist. But without her even knowing, she might also have some unfinished business to do with Park Hye-do. Interesting. And the way the show brings these characters together and the way it links their lives together is just incredible. They've got great chemistry together, and the great thing is that they have lots of arguments, and all of them matter. Firstly, they matter because we really get to know them through these conflicts. Who they really are, what they think about things, all that stuff. Because most of their conflicts come from them having come from very, very different places, and their personalities are really able to shine through these conflicts. And second, it matters because the spirit is really no joke. It really hates people and really likes killing them. And people are not even aware of it, so the 3 main characters have to do it themselves. And most of their conflicts are about how to save people, which doesn't always work out for them. In fact, they fail a lot. But it makes their small victories all the sweeter. Actually, it's really good writing. Because the situations matter, their conflicts also always matter. But there's more to that. I guess it's a cliche now that possessed people know everything about everyone around them, but since the main characters are so well established, seeing them being constantly morally and emotionally challenged by whoever the possessed person might be was just incredible. I mean, it's torture for them, but that's what makes characters grow. And the spirit knows which buttons to push on each and every one of them. And even though I've seen this kind of stuff a million times before, somehow it was a lot deeper here. A lot of it was psychological, and I really liked it. Also, as the episodes go by, the show almost turns into a detective drama because, as it turns out, the spirit has a bit more history than what we already know, and the whole thing is a lot trickier than you'd might think. This was a little twist on the genre and how spirits work, and I really liked it. Before I move on, I gotta mention Kim Jae-wook as the young priest because he was probably my favorite. All 3 of them were great, but he had such a cold elegance about him. And also I liked his challenges the most because a lot of times his faith was challenged, but it wasn't his faith in God. It was his faith in himself. You have God on your side, but you don't have yourself on your side? Anyway, great character. So how's the horror after the first 2 episodes? Well, it's fine. Sometimes good, sometimes not so much. It's definitely less intense and it's pretty sporadic. There are some fantastic bits, of course, especially when a little girl gets possessed, but there's a lot less horror in this show than you might expect. Or is it just that my tolerance level is just too high? That might be it, so if you're on the fence when it comes to horror, yeah, be careful. Actually, now that I think about it, there are some pretty disturbing scenes in here. Right up my alley. But The Guest is definitely a lot more than just a horror show. The dramatic bits are very well done, the humor is very, very tastefully used, it was never cringy. This show is a great package. With some problems. Around episode 3, the show gets a lot more episodic for a while, and I didn't really feel like the story was progressing in the right way. And I don't mean it was filler material, but it took away some of the consistency for a while. Another problem is something that's really hard to talk about because it's about the ending. Well, not exactly the ending, but there's a big reveal scene where finally we learn everything we have to know, and I'm pretty conflicted about it. Some parts of it were great, some of it made a lot of sense, but the other half, I'm not so sure. And the way it was presented, the way a certain character was presented, well, it turned something that was cold and menacing before to something slightly ridiculous. I'm talking about the visual presentation and the sound design and everything, and it just didn't work. And looking back on the whole show after that, a certain part of it just falls apart. And also, I just can't shake the fact that the first 2 episodes were so strong that everything after that was a letdown. I'm trying to use this word very carefully here because I did enjoy the show, but man, those first 2 episodes left me wanting more of that stuff. And I never really got that. But to end on a positive note, after that big reveal exposition scene, there's a scene right before the epilogue, which was really good too, by the way. But that scene really got me for personal and for non-personal reasons. It was really powerful, it was very well done, and I loved it. So if you like horror, especially this subgenre of horror, you can safely give this one a try, and I'm gonna give The Guest 82%. It's not perfect, and I wish that relentless intensity of the beginning was a bit more present later, but I still really enjoyed The Guest. And so will you. 여러분, 오늘 여기까지만 해요. 영상 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 이 영상 좋아하면 구독해주세요. See you very soon. 다음 시간에 만나요, 여러분. 안녕히 계세요. Bye!